We have come to our children's moment, and you know how much I love doing these. But I always like to start with a question. And I know my kids are not out to bed hardly yet. But for those of you who'll be watching this later on, or watching it now, let's dig into our youthful spirit. And I'll ask this question as we review the scripture this morning. As a child, and I already know the answer to this, as a child, did you ever deny yourself any candy or sweets or that hot, that cold ice cream in the summer when your parents say, "Yeah, hey, little Henra, come on, get some of this ice cream"? Did you ever say, "No, mom, I'm fasting. I need to focus on finishing this reading that you required me to read today"? Have any of you ever did that as a child? Yeah, I guess not. No, we didn't understand that as a child. But our scripture this morning talks about fasting, denying yourself of something that you may long for, may want, all that you also that you may focus on something else, or focus on, as Pastor Daniel speak to us this morning, focus on justice, focus on issues that matter. And in the scripture this morning, these individuals were fasting, but they were fasting for the wrong reason. They were fasting for themselves, for show. They were fasting not to get closer to God or to unify with those amongst them in the community, but it was just for show. It was just to check something off the box to say, "Hey, I'm fasting. Look at me. I'm a high religious person. I'm trying to get close to God." But in our scripture this morning, it speaks towards the fact that if you're going to be fasting, and Daniel will talk about this morning, there should be some on the flip side of that, some type of nourishment for your spirit, for your soul, that allows us to better connect with the people around us. And our scripture speaks to us that if you're fasting, but there are still those around you who are hungry, and those of you who don't see the same type of justice, then that should be our main focus. If you're going to be fasting, then fast for a purpose. Fast for the purpose to get closer to those in your community, to love those in your community more. And if you're not doing that, if you're fasting, then you go back being the same individual, doing the same thing that you did previously, then what would your fasting be for? It was all in vain. So young people, I know you may never deny yourself that popsicle or that piece of candy or that ice cream that your parents try to give to you. But let's understand, as we grow older and as we are now, still in our youthful mind, if we're going to be fasting, if we're going to be denying ourselves or anything, let on the flip side of that, our spirit be nourished, that connects us closer with each other and love each other.